Ghost of Yotei drops us into an absolutely bafflingly beautiful world. It's full of things to do, stuff to see, and undoubtedly people to kill. It is a fantastic space to explore and slaughter your way through, so of course Sucker Punch have littered it with secrets for the player to find. If you're new around here, you probably don't know that I have a playlist where we explore the secrets found in many games, because I haven't added to this playlist in months. But I did, the best part of a year ago, cover 10 secrets in Ghost of Tsushima. So I guess now that the sequel is out, it's time to do a follow-up video for Ghost of Yotei. So what qualifies as a secret? For the most part, I tend to use it as a vaguer term to describe Easter eggs, because most of the stuff tends to wind up being Easter eggs anyway. And with that said, the timestamps for everything featured in this video will be in the description, so you can use that if you happen to be looking for something specific, or maybe aren't too keen on watching 10 videos on the same things. You know how it is. But with that said, please sit back, grab yourselves a brew, enjoy 10 secrets in Ghost of Yotei. To begin with, we must make our way to the home of the first shinobi. It's a house that can be found in a clearing in the Forgotten Shrine that you'll explore as part of the Stormblade mythic tale, a quest that will have you uncover the fate of Ghost of Tsushima's protagonist Jin Sakai. I shan't go into too much depth on that, for it isn't the point, but by his grave, I assume, you can find a couple ladders that lead down to an enclosed beach, and it's on this beach that we'll be able to find an Easter egg on the rocks. At the centre of this memorial wall we have the Sucker Punch logo and initials. Around it, 4 columns of what appears to be names. Now I can't speak Japanese, never mind read it, but I'm led to believe these are the names of at least some of the developers who worked on the game, immortalised in this digital stone for the player to appreciate. And should you bow before it, leaves will swirl around Atsu, almost like the game itself is acknowledging your respect. It's a neat touch, faintly imprinted on this wall, for players to visit and appreciate those who brought us this fantastic game. To access today's second secret, we need to carry out a few bounties. Particularly, we'll need to complete 3 in the Ishikari Plain region. It's upon doing so that we'll be given a special assignment, if you will, to track down a bounty known as Shiro the Swindler. As it turns out, he's a pretty chill guy, and we end up doing a quest with him while we take on a fort full of dastardly people, and come the end, the swindler fellow makes off, leaving behind the value of his bounty and a mask. This mask is the Sly Thief Mask, captioned Cunning Fingers, Honest Heart. The mask depicts a raccoon. This is obviously an Easter egg to Sly Cooper, one of Sucker Punch Productions' earlier titles. And you'll notice this is a recurring theme in Ghost of Yotei, as it was in Ghost of Tsushima. More than anything, Sucker Punch seem to love referencing their previous work. Which brings us to secret number 3, located in the southwest of the Ishikari Plains region. For it's down here that we'll find one of those mountain shrine thingies, the Sun's Peak Shrine to be specific. Now, it's all well and good to do these, in fact I highly recommend it, but if instead of making the climb to the shrine you take a left, you'll notice some stormy activity specifically over the way. Now it's unclear as to why. God doesn't seem too fond of this pillar, but of course you tend to come to these to find vanity gear. And as with most pillars, there is a piece of gear resting against the pillar for us to pick up. This sword is known as the infamous Strike, and that is undoubtedly a nod to another Sucker Punch Productions franchise, Infamous. So yeah, like I said, Sucker Punch love referencing themselves. But while that's mostly the case, it isn't always. As for secret number 4, if we head to Benton Port, which of course can be found in the Oshima coast to the southwest, should we carry out a few bounty hunts in the region to boost the coffers, we'll eventually happen upon this bounty. A shadowy figure known as the Last Brother, the last of 4 mercenary brothers, and the most bloodthirsty. Tracking this bounty will take us to the Shojin Hills, where we'll discover he's currently being pursued by some less than friendly mercenaries, whom we'll have to dispatch at this Ronin gravesite. Once these pillocks have been dealt with, at the end of this ridge we'll find a trio of graves, each footed by different coloured flowers, blue, red and purple, the graves of the target's brothers. To cut a long story short, upon finding the chap, briefly scrapping him before we turn to fend off his other assailants, we agree to help him fake his own death.
If you're not going to turn me in, what happens now?
Now, I dig a grave and tell Kojiro you're dead.
This will conclude the bounty hunt and leave a 4th gravestone. At the foot of this one, orange flowers. Orange, blue, red, purple. In case the reference is escaping you, it appears to be a nod to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with the grave colours representing the 4 characters' most distinguishing features: Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo. And the quest appears to specifically be a nod to the comic series The Last Ronin, in which the last remaining turtle, Michelangelo, seeks to avenge the death of his brothers. And that's about as much as I know about it, but it's a bloody cool Easter egg. Now back to the usual programming of Sucker Punch referencing themselves. If we head to the Amber Respite Shrine, situated in the Takachi Range, once the climb has been made and the shrine has been prayed to, if we jump down a couple gravel slips, we'll find ourselves a little pond. If we follow the rocks around to the left and head towards this wooded pass, we will find a mural. This mural appears to be a nod to Infamous 2, depicting Cole fighting the Beast. While I'm not versed in Infamous or any Sucker Punch game aside from the Ghost series in general, it's a cool piece of art, and naturally there are a few of these murals laying around, such as Secret Number 6, which brings us to Master Enomoto's dojo, which of course can be found practically as far north as you can get. It's here where upstairs within his home we'll find another mural. This one appearing to depict Delsin Rowe from Infamous Second Son. Again, above all else, it's something very interesting to look at, but we aren't quite done with the Infamous murals yet, as Secret Number 7 brings us to the Budding Grace Shrine down in the Oshima coast, where if instead of taking the path up to the shrine, directly from the entrance, we follow this footpath around to the left of it, we'll stumble upon another Infamous Easter egg mural, this time depicting a reference to Infamous Second Son's standalone companion, Infamous First Light, with the artwork appearing to portray that game's protagonist, Fetch. There's a lot of Infamous references in this game, but I promise that's the last one for today's video. However, I wouldn't exactly say we're done with the mural formatting yet, for if we make the climb up the Faithful Leap Shrine, which can be found to the east of the Amber Respite one, to simplify things, I at first thought the name was familiar, but whether there's a reference in that name is besides the point for today, for if you make it partway up the climb, and deviate from one of the gentler parts of the ascent, after a quick bit of jumping about and climbing, we'll find yet another mural. After having squeezed through a tight gap, we'll be met with what appears to be a frog. The frog appears to be clutching a glass and is wearing a long, rambunctious hat. This, of course, is a depiction of a bullfrog named Sir Raleigh, an antagonist from Sly Cooper and the Thieves Raccoonus. And that's pretty cool, but mostly I'm just glad most of these murals are found on these climbs. And by the time we get to the 10th secret, you'll see why. But for the 9th, we're in the pursuit of, you guessed it, another mural. This time situated along the enduring Hold Shrine path that is of course situated in the Teshio Range. It's up here that we'll find another painting on the face of a rock, neatly tucked away in a little cut to the right of the path. This one depicts a fella on a unicycle. This one appears to be a nod to a Sucker Punch Productions title from 1999 titled Rocket, Robot on Wheels. Obviously some creative liberty has been taken to depict the robot as a bloke instead, as to not completely shatter the immersion of 17th century Japan, but at least this time Sucker Punch are referencing a game of theirs that isn't Infamous or Sly Cooper. Now I promise this 10th secret isn't a mural, but it's likely the most exhausting of the lot, because in order to acquire it we'll need to do all of the shrines. There are 13 of these in total: the Mount Yotei Shrine, Fool's Rest Shrine, the Blooming Ridge Shrine, the Amber Respite, the Faithful Leap, the Risen Fog, the Winding Tears, the Azure Wind, the Sun's Peak, the Budding Grace, the Patient Frost, the Chilled Peak, and finally the Enduring Hold, all of which will put your clambering ability to the test, but once you've taken the bow at all of these shrines, you'll not just receive the charms for having done so. Once you've ticked off all 13, you'll get the Golden Mask. This is a Golden Skull Mask. Its significance, of course, being a golden skull mask is precisely what Higgs wears in Death Stranding, another game I have simply not got around to. I'm not entirely sure why this is the reward for doing all 13 of the shrines, but despite the beautiful scenery, breaking it down, doing them one after another does eat up an awful lot of time, so if you asked me was it worth it, no. And that brings us nicely to the end of today's relatively short by my standards video. It's nice to do those again. It's nice to be doing some secrets again. It's nice to have a game release that I actually care about even. I'd like to thank you all for watching today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. It managed to get you to chill out a bit maybe, or maybe it helped draw attention to something you didn't know was there. Either way, I really appreciate you sticking it out to the end. Be sure to let me know of any secrets this video didn't cover in case you want to see a part 2 down the line. And of course, leave a like on this video, maybe subscribe, share the channel with your friends, all that wonderful stuff. It is all massively appreciated. We hit a meaty milestone recently that I'm incredibly grateful for, so thank you to everyone's support over the years. It's been an absolute pleasure to clog up your recommended, and if you have that notification bell on, your notifications too. But with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. Until next time, please take care, and goodbye.